Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise on MLB The Show 21 and the MSM Sports Network. We've simmed up to the All-Star break in the month of July. We've got just one game left to play here, and that's because the AA Futures game is on this date. We've got a couple of players that made it to that, and I'll show you that just in a moment. But first, want to recap the first half of the month of July, and we're going for the series against the Boston Red Sox. It's the rubber match in Game 3. We took a series from the Angels, split with the White Sox, lost to the Blue Jays, and split with the Indians. Of course, we ended last episode with the sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays, and as a result, we sit at 52-38. One more game left to go, but we are half a game back right now of the Houston Astros, a win against the Red Sox, and we would be tied heading into the midsummer's break. We're also tied right now for that wild card spot with the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. The Red Sox just a game and a half back, and then you've got a cluster of teams in the A's, the Indians, and even the Angels that are within striking distance of potentially chasing a postseason berth. Well, run you through some of the stats for our guys leading into this break, and at the top of the lineup, it's looked really good. David Dahl is smashing the baseball right now. Nick Solak is having a hot month of July. We did get Tyler Naquin back after he hurt his back, so he's back in the lineup. Willie Calhoun has gone from the starting left fielder in the All-Star game to basically right on the cusp of being an All-Star. I have yet to see, obviously, whether or not he's going to make that, but he's slumped a little bit here in July. Trevor Story has started to pick things up. Nate Lowe is hitting the ball quite well. Jose Trevino has solidified himself as the starting catcher for us right now, both against righties and lefties. Same for Julio Pablo Martinez, who has taken over now full-time in center field, 246 the average with 6 RBIs, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa still at third base. You get a look at our bench right now, and Sam Huff may be on the move here very shortly. I've been looking around, and I think that there are some moves that we could potentially make as we try and get into the postseason and be competitive again, and I think I would need Sam Huff to be a guy that gets moved in that case. Look at the pitching rotation, and it looks like this. Tyler Glasnow is 6-2. Carlos Martinez is pitching very, very solidly right now. Wes Benjamin is having a career season, 9-2. He's seen that ERA go up just a little bit over the month of July. Hans Kraus has continued to stay in the rotation. He's 2-1, and Dane Dunning is in the number 5 spot. You notice that Tyler Phillips is now in as our long reliever. I did send Mackenzie Gore down. He went on a losing streak of, I believe, 3 straight games. His ERA went over 5.5. So I sent him back down to AAA to hopefully fix whatever has been ailing him. You look at the rest of our bullpen, and they are just so dadgum solid right now. It's really, really fun to pitch with these guys, and they're a big reason why I think we can be competitive this year in a postseason run. Well, this year's Futures game is being played at Chavez Ravine Dodgers Stadium, and you'll see here in a second, we've got 2 guys that made the Futures team, including Jimmy Rodriguez, the 26-year-old Curacao-born right-hander, a potential 65 overall, and he's pitched very well at AAA. 2 wins and a loss. He does have 5 holds to his name in 46 2/3 innings and 54 strikeouts. I really like that number, a 2.7 ERA. The whip is a little bit high, but still, I like how Jimmy is developing. I think he has a definite shot at making our big league rotation, at least the bullpen, down the line. The other guy that made it for us, Robert Hassell, the center fielder that we traded for a season ago, as we got him from the San Diego Padres. Hassell is hitting .281 at AA Frisco. He's got 3 home runs, 25 RBIs, but 12 doubles. I really like to see that. He's getting on base. He's got 4 triples as well. He does strike out a fair amount, 39 Ks to only 20 walks, and he surprisingly only has 1 stolen base. He's actually been caught 4 out of the 5 times that he's tried to go, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me with the 85 speed, but his stealing just not developing, so I'm a little bit worried about that. But as far as the offense goes, he's good to go, and defensively as well, he's played very, very well. A 1.3 wins above replacement. Well, let's get into the AA All-Star Game now, and we have a number of Rough Riders who made it, including the headline starter, Hank Lyons, who is having a sensational rookie season, 7-2 with an ERA of 2.61. He has earned the honor of starting the AA All-Star Game, as have Robert Hassell, Jake Gunther, as well at first base, a 240 average. Ben Espinoza is smashing the ball, 252 with 12 home runs, and then as backups, you saw David Winzell, Maximo Acosta, and Steele Walker. And I actually ended up subbing David Winzell in as a starter for this. So the Rough Riders have taken over this AA starting lineup, and it would start with Robert Hassell batting against Kendall Williams at Nationals Park, and the first pitch is in there for strike one. We're not going to go through everything in this game, but just some of the highlights that our players accumulated, including this leadoff infield single from Hassell, as his speed is shown off there. Didn't hit that ball particularly hard, but easily able to beat it out and get to first. So with one out now, it was Jake Gunther, the 3-hole hitter. Gunther going up the ladder, swung at a fastball that was a little bit above the zone, trying to knock it into the right field stands, but instead he popped up. So 2 outs now, and that would bring up Ben Espinoza batting in the cleanup spot. A 2-2 count here to Ben as Williams winds, fires, and there goes the runner, Hassell. A little bit of a late break, but the throw is low and not in time, and Hassell steals second base to put a runner in scoring position for the South. 3-2 pitch now to Espinoza, and he's going right back up the middle. A base hit for Ben, and the South will take the lead 1-0 over the North All-Stars. David Winzell would be the next batter, 290 the average on the season. I'm really excited about what he's put together, but he was unable to get a base hit here as he swung through a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, Hank Lyons was on the mound getting the start, and of course not going to go very deep in this game, but a whip just above 1, and he struck out 44 compared to just 17 walks. First pitch of the ballgame was a strike, and the very next pitch will wind up being out number 1 as Kramer Robertson, former LSU great, dispatches with the first out. The next batter up would bloop this one into shallow left center field, and this is just over the head of a diving Kramer Roberts, and because the outfield hesitated, didn't take charge, it ends up being a 1-out double on a Texas League base hit. Aaron Sabato was the next batter, and he's going to chop this one through the right side. Again, not hit particularly strong, but Hassell comes up throwing, and he doesn't have the strongest arm out there in right field, and just like that, the North ties it up. 2 outs now. Lyons trying to get out of the inning, and he'll induce another weak ground ball to get out of the inning. Unlucky for Lyons, he didn't give up a hard hit all inning long, and yet the game would be tied. To the bottom of the second now, and now Hassell gets to show off his legs as he closes on that ball and takes away what would have been a sinking line drive base hit. And then how about this? To end his outing, he'll make the play himself, making the catch in foul territory. Lyons goes 2 innings and gives up just 1 run in his first career All-Star appearance. So we go to quick sim the rest of this game, and Hassell earns a walk, then steals second base again. And it's Jake Gunther this time who doubles our guy home. It's 2-1 South, and we would end up taking Hank Lyons out of the game. The South All-Stars do go on to win this one in our nation's capital, and an impressive performance from our guys. They win 6-2. Robert Hassell named the player of the game, and that cleared the way for the home run derbies. For the second time in 2 years, the Rangers have a representative. This time, it's Trevor Story who sneaks in as the 8th seed, and I know there's the Colorado logo. It's in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine, so just a little bit of a discrepancy in the game there. But Trevor Story, the 8th seed, really kind of surprised to be here, to be quite honest. He's not really known as a home run hitter, just 178, but he led off the home run derby in style, taking on the hometown favorite, Justin Turner, the number 1 seed. And Trevor Story was on fire early. Trevor's going to have to pull every one of these baseballs to get it out of the yard. For whatever reason, he wasn't showing a ton of power to the opposite field, as you see him miss that one there. Another line drive, but Trevor's not a guy who hits traditional bombs. He's much more of a hard contact batter, as you see some of these balls getting into the gap. But every once in a while, he can uncork a bomb like that. 425, and he would earn the bonus time as he sends his 16th home run of the session, flying into the left field seats. In the final 30 seconds, Trevor doing everything he can to make an insurmountable lead for the number 1 seed, Justin Turner. And I think Story was raising a lot of eyebrows as he gets 17, doesn't get that one out, but looking to get one more before time expires, and he finds it. 18 home runs for the Texas Rangers shortstop, and a strong showing from the 8th seed as he's going to be greeted by a couple of his all-star teammates here for the American League. And now Justin Turner truly does have a mountain to climb. Obviously, Turner, the number 1 seed coming in. He's had a hot year in 2022, but still, 18 home runs in basically 4.5 minutes is a large task to ask for, especially when your pitcher isn't necessarily throwing strikes. I'll give you a look at a couple of the first that he launched. You see that one just didn't quite get there. This one is going to be a no-doubter, though, as Turner puts his 2nd home run up on the board, and now he starts to feel it. But in the middle of the session, he kind of lost his way and started hitting a lot of foul balls. And so now, all of a sudden, with less than 30 seconds left, Justin Turner only has 11 home runs. That one goes foul. And now it's just a formality. He didn't even get the bonus time. And Justin Turner, the number 1 seed coming in, is going to be eliminated. He doesn't even get his final swing of the ball game out of the yard. And Trevor Story takes down Justin Turner, former rivals when Story was the shortstop for the Colorado Rockies. And you see, we're moving on to take on Bryce Harper in the 2nd round as Trevor Story gets going with an absolute bomb. And just like that, 2 swings in, he's already got the bonus time secured. These are being launched off the bat of the Texas Rangers shortstop, is we really haven't seen a ton of these deep shots from him all season long. Sure, he had 22 home runs coming in, but usually they were kind of line drive power shots just over the wall. Some of these are absolute nukes that Trevor is unleashing, and well, he's trying to upset 2 seeds in a row. Is Bryce Harper, the number 4 seed, coming in? That one a no-doubter as well. Trevor Story would ultimately have 10 swings in a row that the ball left the yard, there being number 10, and just an incredible display from a guy that I don't really think was anticipated to make any noises. You see there, finally does make it out. He gets up to 17 home runs, and now the energy's starting to wane. He swings a little bit too early on that one. Still trying to find an extra home run or 2. That one off the base of the wall. A line drive to center field wouldn't make it. And the final swing of the 2nd round, belted high and deep to center field and just over the wall. Trevor Story with another impressive showing. And now he's just got to wait and hang on and see what Bryce Harper does, who came to play 455 feet off the bat to start the proceedings here. Harper goes deep 2 swings in a row. But again, another question about longevity here. The ball's not flying like it was at Coors Field a season ago when Joey Gallo was our participant. And so a lot of these balls are certainly going to at least be threatening to hit off near the wall as Harper continues to hit long bombs. Got 5 so far. Let's make it 6 as this one towers into the seats at 459 feet. But again, just like Justin Turner, Bryce Harper hit a little bit of a wall, and he'll start to trickle in some more home runs. But a couple of foul balls really hurt his chances, and you go from thinking that Harper is going to pass Story outright to now, can he just tie him? As that's another line drive, doesn't count for anything. We're down to the final 30 seconds of regulation as he fouls that one off. Inside 20 seconds now is Harper, his 14th home run. So he just needs 4 home runs in the next 40 seconds total as his final swing of regulation will leave the yard. 3 home runs needed in 30 seconds. That's just 1 per 10 seconds, but the first one misses. A line drive that doesn't get there. The second swing doesn't get there either. And now Harper really behind the 8 ball. He doesn't even get that one out. Trevor Story is going to upset not only the number 1 seed in Justin Turner, but Bryce Harper as well, and Trevor Story is into the home run derby final, taking out two of the most well-known home run hitters in the National League, and it would be an all-AL West final as Story takes on Yordan Alvarez, the Houston Astros slugger, and Story once again going first. Hit some bombs early, but you see a foul ball creep in there. Here's another one that he just doesn't quite straighten out, and some valuable opportunities going by the wayside. That one was an absolute nuke to dead central, and Story following it up again. So he's got the bonus time one more time, but then Trevor started to get a little bit inconsistent, spraying some balls to the right field side. Didn't quite get that one out over the power alley. That one's going to sneak through, however, and Story still putting up a decent showing. 13 home runs heading into the extra time, make it 14. And now what can he add in the bonus time? 30 extra seconds. That one just falls shy. And so now time really becoming a factor as that one doesn't get out. Energy becoming a factor as well. Story gets his 15th home run of the session out, but that's going to be it, as this one will fall in deep left field, and Trevor Story had 15 home runs. That would be the mark that Yordan Alvarez would have to beat. Now, of course, Yordan Alvarez hit 19 home runs just last round, and that was all that he needed to hit to advance into the finals over Max Muncy. 458 feet, his longest shot so far, and he would start off with a foul ball that had plagued a ton of hitters. But then he got into a little bit of a groove. Got his first one, gets his second one there, and I decided just to speed run through this. I think you can kind of tell what's coming. Yordan, 15 home runs, not that big of a challenge for him, and he immediately went to work. He's cut into it by half with 2 minutes and change remaining. We'll skip ahead now to about 20 seconds left, and Alvarez makes his 14th there. Looking for his 15th going opposite field, but it's not going to get around the foul pole. But as time expires, 442 feet, and then 2 swings into the bonus time, Yordan Alvarez to dead central, and he wins the 2022 Home Run Derby. The Houston Astros claim another championship over the Texas Rangers. A quick handshake there, and then Alvarez right back to celebrating as maybe no love lost between the Texas Rangers and Houston Astros. And Alvarez becomes the Home Run Derby champ. Trevor Story gave it everything that he could, but just came up a little shy in the end. Let's get to the All-Star Game now, and the Rangers had several guys that made the team, including Wes Benjamin. He did not get to be the starter, but he did make the list of pitchers. He was the only Ranger pitcher that made it. The only Ranger starter to qualify is Nick Solak, and boy, he has had a tremendous season. 17 bombs, 294 the average. Other Rangers that made it, Trevor Story, of course, actually did make it for years. Joey Gallo has, been participating in home run derbies across franchises, but it's hard to get him in. Trevor Story makes it, as does Willie Calhoun. So again, we're going to just play through some of the highlights from our players. I did not play this entire game. I don't normally like to play the All-Star Game just because it doesn't really mean a ton, but I figured, hey, we have a number of guys that have made tremendous strides this season and made All-Star appearances. Let's give them a little bit of love. Again, the All-Star Game here at Chavez Ravine, despite what the logo would have you think. Here are the 2 starting teams for the American and National League, and you see Nick Solak, the starting second baseman, starting opposite Francisco Lindor for the NL. And Solak would bat in the second inning here against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw dominated the Rangers earlier in the season. That was a game that was an episode on this channel, and boy, he is just so tough to pick up. Misses high here with the 1-0. The next pitch is a slider that doesn't make it back to the plate, and so 2-0, driver's seat fastball, and Solak swings right under it. Good timing, but just popped it straight up. And boy, that is an opportunity that he would like to have back. So we go to the bottom of the third, and it's Wes Benjamin on the mound as the AL has a 3-0 lead. A 2-run home run from Alex Bregman making that possible as Benjamin in his first career All-Star game, and he'll record the first out as he gets a ground ball down to Bregman, who makes the easy play for the first out. But this was where Benjamin's outing got a little bit bumpy, and we start with JT Realmuto. He'll go right back up the middle with not a hardly hit single, but still finds its way into the outfield, and there was a runner on. Next batter's Trey Turner. Turner's going the other way, and I apologize a little bit for the screen lag there, but it's first and second now with just one out for Tommy Pham. And the first pitch that Pham sees is laced into right field, a base hit. Played on a hop, the throw to the plate is not in time, and Benjamin gives up the first run for the National League. Bryce Harper was the next batter, and a 1-1 slider hangs right down the middle. And Harper may not have won the home run derby, but boy, he can crush them a long way. And just like that, the National League took the lead. The AL would respond with a run in the 5th inning to tie it up, and that's when Trevor Story got subbed into the ballgame. This is his first at-bat that he sees. Quickly ahead on German Marquez with a 2-0 count. After battling back to full, a 3-2 pitch, and that is as close as it gets. A 98-mile-an-hour fastball just off the plate, and Trevor Story would walk. Nick Solak would be the next batter, and again he squares it up, but gets just underneath it. Great timing, but unable to cash it in, and Solak would go 0 for 2. In the 7th, Willie Calhoun got his at-bat, and this would be the only at-bat of the game that he would get. And against Josh Hader, he swung a little bit early on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball and flied it into right field. That would be all that the Rangers contributed in this one, and let's just say it got ugly after that. 6 runs come across for the NL in the 7th and 8th innings, and the National League claims home field advantage against the American League as they defeat the AL 10-4. The last All-Star game to take a look at is the AAA All-Star game, and Brock Burke would be the starter for his side as he has had a fantastic season, a 2.52 ERA. As you get a look at some of the other All-Stars, Sam Gaviglio makes it, as does Josh Young. I didn't play that one, but Brock Burke and the All-Stars did win that one. And now I give you a look at the trade deadline. This will be the remainder of the episode, talking you through some ideas that I have. And basically, I think that the starting pitching on this team is good enough. We have a very, very deep stable of pitchers, but I want to get a relief pitcher. And to get one, a guy that may have to be on the move is Sam Huff. Now, Huff is developing at a very rapid rate, and I realize that this may not be the smartest idea, but we do have Randy Florentino, who's also developing at a rapid rate and is ranked a little bit higher than Sam Huff. So unless Huff can get on a hot streak here in the next couple of weeks, Sam may be on the move. And one of the ideas that I had was to go get John Brebbia from the San Francisco Giants and also get a highly coveted prospect in Dan Porton. More on him in a second. Brebbia is 30 years old and is regressing, but he's having a very good season for the Giants. A 3.16 ERA. He's on a cheap deal plus one more year of team control. I think he would be a valuable asset to add. In addition, we could go get Dan Porton in this deal, who I said I really wanted to trade for. Now, his glove needs to make big-time strides, but I think his bat and his arm especially really remind me of Pudge Rodriguez, just maybe minus the power. Other pitchers that I looked at were Colin Poche and Nick Anderson from the Tampa Bay Rays. Again, just looking for a valuable arm to go and get and hopefully help anchor us out of the bullpen. Joe Jimenez also made that list. Well, here's a look at some of the team statistics very quickly to end this episode, and we are playing really good baseball right now. Offensively, we're one of the best teams in the bigs. We're hitting for average, we're hitting for extra base hits and power as well. You see we ranked 5th there in home runs at 122, and we're doing really well driving guys in. Earlier in the season, we were wasting a lot of opportunities. That's not necessarily been the case in the second half of this season, the last several episodes. Where we have struggled is defensively, and we're really middle of the road with errors, tied for 16th. We've made 40 of them. Fielding percentage, of course, is going to follow in that footstep. 988's not terrible, but it could be a lot better considering teams like the Astros are fielding in the 990s. But we do have the 5th best ERA, 3.44, and actually tied for 7th with 8 shutouts on the season, and we lead all of baseball with saves as well. Total saves 37, one of the tops in fewest blown saves. And you get a look at our depth chart now as we look towards the future. I think we have a deep playoff run in us potentially this season, but right now our team is so stacked that I'm really excited to see what happens in year 3 and 4 of this franchise. Guys like Ben Espinosa, Randy Florentino that I think are going to come up and be big parts of the team. You've got Robert Hassell in the outfield as well, and then the pitching core with Mackenzie Gore, Brock Burke, Hans Kraus, Blaine Inlow. Some of those guys really, really excite me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have this next episode, which will be the end of July and the trade deadline, coming very, very shortly. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. Until next time, so long, everybody.